Hello, guys, and welcome to the read through of my new movie, Simply Vexed. I just wanted to pop in here to kind of explain what you guys are about to watch. So, over the course of this semester, my final semester of senior year, I guess, senior semester, I have been writing Simply Vexed, which is a feature length script. And I decided to put together a full cast to do a read through of it, and that is what you guys are going to see today, as well as some stock footage and some music and some other sort of elements that I added in to the performance. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is the cast's second time reading through it. They did so good for some of them. It was even their first time. And they did such a great job. And I want to say a huge thanks to them before we get started. And also a huge thanks to everyone who is here watching right now. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let me present Simply Vexed.
My dear Sarah, you would not believe the perplexity of the situation that my unruly brother and I have found ourselves in. Who knew love was such a tedious sport? This letter should come of no surprise after the vast amount of letters that have preceded it. I fear the story is soon coming to an end. Who would have thought that this is what the Esterman twins would amount to? Certainly not I. Although I have come to believe that I am more complex than I previously perceived. As for you, my lovely friend, I thank you for your heart which has been open to receive my constant badgering. I have made my peace with my resolve. Alas, my mind cannot help but wander back to when this all began.
Exterior Esterman estate a year before. The estate is large with a courtyard at its center. Amelia, 20s, walks down the long path to the front door. She carries a covered basket.
Do you find yourself being envious of the poor? Perhaps it is just me. Keeping up with all the social standards has become an undesirable and impossible task. Father insists that I find myself a wife. Ponder that. Your friend Levi settled down with some dame. I cannot imagine that any woman would be suitable for a lifetime. Amelia, on the other hand, cannot get enough of the social qualms. She would have a suitor begging at her feet every day if she could.
Interior Esterman estate, kitchen. Amelia enters the kitchen. Rebecca, 40s, cooks.
And just what have you been up to?
The party is this weekend. I had to find the perfect collection of silks to drape over the table.
Of course, the most important element.
Certainly.
Levi, 20s, enters.
Afternoon, sister.
Mr. Esterman, can we expect an appearance from you this weekend?
My father will positively demand it.
As he should.
But I would rather be set adrift in the thunderous oceans left to die.
That's a strong statement.
I want to make sure my opinion on the matters are clear.
They most definitely are.
Rebecca pulls a tray of buns out from the oven. Levi snags one. It's hot in his hands.
How exactly do you expect to meet your future wife?
I don't.
Do you not want children?
Do my desires truly interest you?
Very much so.
Then I will keep them to myself.
You're such a burden.
Thank you, dear sister.
The miss is right, sir. You're expected to carry on the Esterman name.
I have never been fond of expectations.
Do they not define us?
It appears they often do. I must be off to the market. Good day.
Levi exits. Exterior stables. Isaac, 20s, the stable hand, prepares a horse.
Afternoon, sir. Headed back downtown.
Yes, of course.
You all right?
Just bothered by Amelia.
Nothing new there. She's all ready.
Levi jumps on the horse and rides away. Interior Esterman estate. Rebecca and Amelia cook together.
Levi is such a pain.
That he is.
How does he fail to understand how important his role in this family is?
I don't know. With your father now unable to work, you would think that Levi would take his masculine matters more seriously.
You would think. I talked to father about the estate.
Did you?
He said that it was entirely up to us who he bequeaths it to.
Really? Now, I know that this may not be my place, ma'am, but perhaps you could use this knowledge to twist your brother's leg a bit.
Do you suppose he wants the estate?
Why wouldn't he?
Amelia thinks on this. Exterior, Kittery. Main Street, day. Levi walks through the streets. Women shop and men talk and drink. A protester stands on the side of the street.
Curse the Federalists! Don't let yourselves be trapped by Britain once more!
Levi passes by the protester.
A large federal government infringes upon our new founded rights. Curse the Federalists!
Levi slips into a building.
Interior tavern, back room. A group of men have gathered, including Jonathan, Eric, and Daniel. Henry, 30s, stands at the front and talks. Clara, 20s, stands at the back of the room with her arms crossed. She wears pants and a hat with her hair pulled back, attempting to disguise from her true sex.
The election of 1800 will be telling. Will the American people continue to support the Federalists, or will we usher in a new presidency?
Levi enters and takes a seat.
Southern Democratic Republicans make some valuable points. We should not put all of our eggs in one basket. Instead, we should spread them amongst the states.
Why spread out the power? How can we train up so many people to use it? We should simply rely on small few instead of the many.
Do you not want to see yourself represented?
You cannot convince me that life wasn't easier when we didn't have to discuss politics.
So you would rather not have responsibility?
I want Washington back. Adams was pathetic.
We can't bring anyone back from the grave, Daniel.
Adams and the Federalists seek to hold all of the power for themselves. They are corrupt. All of them.
I'm a Federalist.
I do not withdraw my previous statement.
You Democratic Republicans don't want to see the country brought together. It's easier to have power when it's all torn apart.
Arguments erupt. After immense effort, Henry quiets them.
Do you not hear yourselves? You're tearing each other apart. This is exactly what Washington warned us about in his farewell address. Do we not all belong to the same country?
The men are quiet. Levi is impressed.
Debate is acceptable and needed. However, attacks on character are unwarranted. They help no one.
The men look to each other, ashamed. Exterior tavern, later. All of the gathered men leave the tavern. Clara keeps her eyes low. Levi follows behind her.
Excuse me, sir?
She tries to walk a little faster.
Sir?
He catches up to her.
Pardon me. I was just in awe of your statements this afternoon.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you at the tavern before. What's your name?
I must be going.
Perhaps we can converse another time.
Perhaps.
She hurries off.
How the sun rises and falls in our new country.
Levi turns and walks through the street.
It is 1 in a million that I would be born in this time. How fortunate are we to witness history?
Establishing shot, Esterman Estate, night. Interior Esterman Estate. Amelia sits by the fire.
Amelia only sets her mind on insignificant matters. Maybe I should entertain her in her pursuits, if that is what it will take to hush her.
Levi enters.
I've been waiting for you.
Have you now? Whatever for?
I have a proposition.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
We are both to be wed soon. Would it not be fascinating to see who can win the hand of the most wealthy partner?
Perhaps.
We might as well have a little bit of fun with our impending futures. Run away from it as you may try, it will always swallow you whole.
What do you suggest?
Whoever marries the wealthiest spouse gets to keep the estate.
Fascinating.
Most definitely.
I thought your heart was set on owning the estate yourself.
Does that not tell you how intent I am on getting you married off?
Ha!
My brother and I have made a most fascinating deal, Sarah.
I have made a deal with my sister.
The two shake hands.
When I write it out, it does sound a bit vain.
To be honest, William, the estate means very little to me.
Levi's room. Levi enters his room and sits at his desk.
I feel as though this bet is the surest way to secure the estate for myself.
There are much more interesting matters in this world than that of the Esterman estate, cherished as it may be.
Front room. Amelia sits back down by the fire.
I intend for my children to grow up on this estate. I will see it no other way.
Perhaps Amelia will learn that one day.
Yours, Amelia.
Levi's room. Levi writes.
Your friend, Levi.
He seals the letter. Interior Esterman Estate. Day. Dining hall. The room is immense with a massive table at its center. Amelia is hard at work setting the table. Front room. Mark and Victoria Esterman, 50s, enter.
Amelia?
Amelia enters.
Welcome home.
They embrace. Levi enters.
How was New York?
Beautiful. You would not believe the size of the city.
And the doctor?
Useless as always.
Oh.
However, I feel fine. I need a doctor anyway.
Do you feel up for a party?
I would love a party.
Good, because I put one together to welcome you both home.
Have you? Let me help.
The women exit.
You will be in attendance tonight, correct?
You know I wish not to be.
Yes, and I wish to be perfectly healthy. We don't always get what we wish.
He pats Levi on the back and exits. Levi looks frustrated. Exterior Esterman Estate. Levi rides away from the estate. Exterior dirt path. Clara walks along the path. She wears a dress and carries a basket. Her long golden hair in waves. Levi turns a corner. His horse rears. Clara backs away, dropping her basket. Fruit spills out. Levi loses his balance and falls flat on his back. Clara grabs the horse's mouthpiece and settles it down.
I'm terribly sorry. Are you all right?
She offers Levi a hand. He grabs it and stands.
No need to be sorry. I should have paid more attention.
He stretches out. Clara picks up some of the pieces of fruit.
Oh, please, let me.
I can manage.
Levi kneels down and helps her.
Thank you.
Where are you headed? Would you like a ride?
I'm just dropping these off at the estate down the road.
Esterman?
No, Tom's.
Oh, Tom's. What a grand estate.
It most certainly is.
Please, let me escort you.
Oh, no, I am in much need of exercise.
If you insist.
He jumps back on his horse.
Have a good day, miss.
He rides away. Exterior stables. Amelia sits looking back at the estate. Isaac cleans one of the horses.
Isaac,
Yes?
come here, please.
He walks over to her.
Yes.
Sit.
Isaac looks confused, but he does what he's told.
Do you remember when we were kids?
Yes, of course.
We would run around the estate pretending to be knights or sorcerers or whatever came to our imaginative minds.
You made a great princess.
Oh, most definitely. I want that for my children.
It was a good childhood.
That it was. Take a break and sit with me here for a moment, won't you?
If you absolutely demand it.
I positively do.
Interior Trading Company. Levi works in his office. He signs a few papers. He checks his pocket watch. He moves quicker.
Interior, Esterman Estate, Amelia's bedroom. Amelia sits at her vanity. She finishes touch-ups, then sits back and examines herself. She practices her smile.
Amelia.
Amelia is startled. She gets up and exits. Hallway. Rebecca waits for Amelia at the base of the stairs.
What did I tell you about yelling?
Sorry, miss. The stairs looked extra steep today.
Amelia pauses at the base of the stairs and takes a deep breath.
Oh, you look very beautiful, miss. Any suitor would die for you.
Amelia straightens up. Front room. Elijah Peterson, 20s. A well-kept man, absolutely ordinary in every sense of the word. Stands talking to Victoria.
I do apologize for being early.
Nonsense. You're welcome anytime.
Amelia enters.
Here she is now.
Amelia approaches.
Good evening, madam.
He kisses Amelia's hand.
This is Elijah Peterson.
How unfortunate that my parents were unable to attend.
Most unfortunate.
More guests arrive. Victoria greets them.
I must say you look breathtaking, Amelia.
Thank you. What business is your family in again, Elijah?
Our family owns several banks. Father has me running one of my own already.
Is that right?
Caroline Hines, 20, enters with Franklin Hines, 50s. Caroline immediately begins to mingle. Frank approaches Victoria.
My Carolyn has become most taken by your Levi. Will he be attending tonight?
Victoria looks a little weary. Exterior, path, night. Levi rides down the path in a hurry. Interior dining room. Guests take a seat around a massive table. There's an empty seat next to Caroline. Amelia eyes it. Exterior, Esterman Estate, back room. Levi runs out from the stables and into the back door. Interior, Esterman Estate, back hall. Voices can be heard talking and laughing. Levi enters and sneaks through the hall. Levi's bedroom. Levi enters and hurriedly yanks his dirty boots off. Dining hall. Amelia sits by Elijah.
Quarter is approximately 7 millimeters wider than a dime.
Really?
It would be logical to produce the coin sizes to match their values. With a penny, a single cent, is bigger than a dime.
Levi enters in a nice suit, his hair still a little messy.
Levi.
She stands and escorts him to his seat.
Caroline, this is my brother.
Levi, yes. We crossed paths some time ago.
Amelia nudges Levi. Levi reluctantly kisses Caroline's hand and takes a seat. Amelia briefly fixes his hair. He shoos her off. There's an awkward silence between Levi and Caroline. Each wait for the other to initiate conversation.
What's made you late to your own family's party?
More important things.
Is that so? Care to discuss them?
Victoria overhears this question and glances nervously at Levi.
We are living in the birth of a brand new nation. This is our chance to find change.
Is the ratification from Britain not enough for you?
Not when we still partake in slavery. We're supposed to represent freedom, and yet we have men in chains.
Levi! How goes the trade with the Robertsons?
Levi is distracted, his mind still on politics.
Father said you recently sent a shipload of silks down to Virginia.
Is he taking to the business well, Mark?
Quite well. He will make an excellent tradesman.
Victoria stares Levi down.
There's good money in the business, man.
Franklin glances at Caroline.
Most definitely.
Interior, ballroom, later. Guests talk and dance. Levi leans against the wall. Amelia enters.
You are certainly not going to obtain the state by dawdling around.
This is all so trivial.
Certainly much too simplistic for my dear brother.
Elijah approaches.
Madam, can I escort you to the dance floor?
You most certainly can.
She grabs his arm, and they walk away. Victoria approaches Levi.
Would you care to dance with your mother?
I'm assuming I don't have much of a choice.
He offers up his arm. She grabs it, and they walk to the dance floor. A new song begins. Everyone begins dancing. Caroline dances with another man. She watches Levi.
I hope this isn't some ploy to get me to dance with another woman.
Must you accuse your mother?
Elijah and Amelia dance.
You dance very well.
Thank you.
As they dance, Amelia brushes Oliver, 20s, a handsome fellow with very little thoughts in his head. She takes notice of him, immediately drawn to his looks. As the song progresses, the group is split into two lines where they proceed to switch partners. Levi ends up with Caroline, and Amelia with Oliver. Levi shoots his mother a look. She just smiles back at him.
Hello, Miss Amelia.
Hello.
Lovely party you have here.
Why, thank you.
She can't keep her eyes off him.
So you can dance after all.
Hardly.
I'd say you are doing quite well.
He spins her and they pass by Amelia and Oliver.
What is your name?
Oliver.
Oliver.
Yes, like an olive with an R.
No, I meant what is your surname?
Oh, Morris.
As in Robert Morris?
That was my grandfather.
Really?
She is drawn to him immensely more. They dance by Levi and Caroline.
I'm sorry, Caroline, but I did not wish to dance with you.
Oh, please, you're not that bad at dancing.
No, I mean, I didn't want to go through the social hoops that are assumed from dancing with a lady. It was all just a ploy of my mother's.
Your mother is a kind soul.
That is true, yes, but that does not alleviate the fact that my intentions may not be what you wish.
And just what do I wish?
The song ends. Everyone but Caroline and Levi clap.
To wed me.
I don't know what you take me for, Mr. Esterman, but I am not one to throw myself at a man.
Then why are you here?
To socialize.
Amelia notices the tension in the conversation.
And just why does one socialize? To be wed. That is why.
You must think very highly of yourself, Mr. Esterman, if you believe that you are so deserving to have my hand in marriage.
She storms off. Levi rolls his eyes and leaves. Amelia shakes her head.
Miss Amelia, I have very much enjoyed our time together this evening.
I have as well.
Perhaps we can see each other another time.
I do believe that can be arranged.
Elijah interjects their conversation.
Miss Esterman, may I speak with you?
Of course.
They step aside.
I've grown rather fond of you this evening, Miss Esterman.
Have you?
I would like to be in your presence again once more in the future.
Oh, why, we can certainly arrange that.
Wonderful.
Amelia thinks to herself, amazed at her own fishing skills. Exterior, Esterman Estate. Guests leave the estate. Interior, Esterman Estate, Amelia's room. Amelia enters in a nightgown. She sits at her desk and begins writing.
Dear Sarah, how I miss you so. My best friend married off and in England. Who would have thought?
Levi's room. Levi enters.
The party went well tonight, other than Levi being an embarrassment. How could I expect anything else from him?
Levi falls backwards onto his bed. He lets out a big sigh. Amelia's room. Amelia still writes.
2 young men caught my eye. Do you remember the Morris estate? Most certainly the largest in Maine.
Interior carriage. Oliver sits.
Tom Morris was certainly not the most appealing man. Yet, somehow his son Oliver has taken all of the hidden charms and looks that Tom lacked.
Oliver smiles to himself. Amelia's room.
There was also Elijah Peterson. Quite bland, but safe. I most surely have the keys to the estate in my back pocket.
Interior, Esterman Estate. Kitchen, morning. Victoria talks as Rebecca prepares breakfast.
You must tell me all about married life. I simply cannot wait. Yours, Amelia.
Levi enters.
Good morning.
Glad to see you're up.
What's for breakfast?
Do you wish to discuss what happened last night?
Not particularly.
Levi, you know better than to create such a ruckus. Caroline was more than patient with you.
Perhaps I don't find Caroline interesting.
Your standards must be unearthly.
They must. What's for breakfast?
Eggs, toast, some fruit, and...
Levi, I am tired of you behaving this way.
Rebecca shrugs and sets a basket of fruit before them.
What way?
You are rude to our guests. You are rude to me and your sister. You are embarrassing this family.
Those are not my intentions.
It certainly seems like they are. Levi, you know things are tough enough already with your father's illness. Please clean up your act. I don't need any more hardships.
Do you want to see your son happy?
Of course.
Then let me live my life.
He picks up an apple and leaves. Victoria shakes her head. Front room. Amelia sews by the fireplace. Amelia goes to the door. She opens it. Elijah stands outside. He takes off his hat and bows.
Elijah,
Hello, miss.
what brings you here?
I do believe that images of you have not stopped running through my head since our interactions last night.
Is that right?
You are most elegant.
Thank you.
I wish to be with you for some time today, possibly now.
What do you have in mind?
I can show you around my bank.
Oh, okay.
Shall we?
Amelia latches onto him. They walk back to his carriage.
Exterior Kittery Main Street, Tavern. Levi walks through the street, his apple just a core now. He feeds it to a horse. Clara stands, presenting as the opposite sex, talking with Eric, Henry, and Daniel. Levi spots her.
That's where you're wrong. We were able to win the war by breaking the rules. Can rules not be broken when it fights for the freedom of others?
Levi approaches the group.
Levi!
Heard that you told off Carolyn Hines last night.
She's a beautiful woman. What more could you want from her?
Thoughts?
All women do is cook, sew, and talk about parties. Meh.
Don't forget dresses. They sure love their dresses.
If I can figure a woman out in a matter of minutes, she's not good enough for me.
How do you know that you fully figured her out?
Because women are simplistic.
Is that so? Perhaps if you actually got to know one, you would learn that they're quite complex.
How would you know?
Are you even old enough to talk to one?
You certainly like arguing with people, don't you?
Only when they're being ignorant.
Levi is taken aback. The other men exchange nervous looks.
Please, free me from my ignorance, O good and holy sir.
It's about time to begin. Shall we head inside?
Clara and Levi separate glares and walk inside the tavern. Exterior, Peterson Bank. The bank is nice, firm, and square. Elijah and Amelia approach it. Interior, Peterson Bank. People work diligently. Elijah opens the door for me. They enter.
This is my bank.
It's lovely.
Thank you. Oh, I have something exciting.
He walks up to one of the tellers. Amelia watches as they talk. The teller hands Elijah a roll of coins. Elijah walks back to Amelia.
Look,
He unwraps a few quarters.
brand new quarters.
Oh, wow.
They're from Washington.
You sure love your coins.
They're incredible. So shiny. You can almost see your reflection. Here, I can show you a penny.
He grabs her hand and pulls her over to the teller.
It has been a few weeks since my outing with Mr. Peterson. I don't know if his money is worth the boredom. I've yet to hear from Mr. Morris. Perhaps I should extend an invitation to him.
Exterior tavern, evening. The men leave the tavern.
This character at our weekly meetings continues to fascinate me.
Clara disappears into the crowd. Levi watches as she goes.
I do believe there is more to him than what meets the eye.
Interior Esterman Estate, front room, morning. Victoria reads a letter. Levi enters.
Levi,
Yes?
She extends the letter to him.
Miss Hines is willing to forget your little debacle.
Levi grabs the letter and reads.
Is that so?
Perhaps you should apologize to her.
Levi thinks for a moment.
Exterior Hines estate. Clara and Caroline walk through the garden together. Levi approaches.
Mr. Esterman.
Levi slides off his horse.
Caroline?
He kisses her hand.
Wouldn't you excuse us, Clara?
Clara nods and curtsies.
Wait a moment.
Clara freezes.
Did I not nearly trample over you a few weeks back?
Aye, sir.
My dearest apologies once more, miss.
This is Clara, and she must be going.
Clara nods and leaves. Levi watches her as she goes, his eyes narrow.
So, what brings you here?
Your letter.
It reached you?
It most certainly did.
And?
I wanted to apologize for what I said.
Really?
It was wrong of me to have judged you so quickly.
Yes, it was.
Do you accept my apology?
I'll have to think about it.
Levi is taken aback by this. She begins to walk away. He follows.
Perhaps the boy was right, William. Women are more unpredictable than I thought. Caroline has piqued my interest.
Clara watches them walk through a window in the manor. She gives a light smile and walks away.
Exterior Kittery, Main Street. Victoria and Amelia walk down the sidewalk.
This shop here.
Really? I would have never thought.
I know. Their storefront is certainly not eye-catching.
Have you heard from Oliver yet?
I'm afraid not.
That's a shame.
Yes.
Well, at least you have Elijah.
Yes. Elijah.
They enter the shop. Exterior Esterman stables. Isaac brushes out a horse. Amelia approaches, leading 2 horses.
How goes shopping, miss?
Well enough.
He walks out to her and takes one of the horses.
Thank you.
They lead the horses into their stables.
What's wrong, miss?
How could you tell?
I've known you your whole life. It's easy to tell when something's gone wrong.
I'm afraid I don't entirely know why I'm upset.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, if you ever need someone to talk to.
Certainly.
How's your father?
Not well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
If it be the will of God.
Of course. I've got the horses from here, miss.
Amelia looks. She's still clutching onto her horse's lead.
Oh yes, I apologize.
She lets go and heads out of the stables. Isaac watches her go with a longing smile. Interior front room. Levi and Amelia enter from different sides of the room.
Oh, Levi,
Amelia,
how is Caroline?
I see word travels quickly.
I cannot believe she's willing to forgive you.
I don't know if she is.
Well, I think Elijah holds more wealth than Caroline does.
Correct. Do you favor Elijah?
I don't know yet.
He's really a bore.
Perhaps I like boring.
Do you?
Amelia is quiet.
Were you expecting someone?
No.
Amelia opens the door. Interior exterior doorway. Oliver stands outside.
Speaking of wealth.
Good afternoon, Mr. Morris.
Oliver kisses her hand.
Madam, I apologize that I haven't gotten back to you. I was out of town for a bit.
Oh, please, no apology needed.
Amelia steps outside and shuts the door behind her.
I haven't been able to stop thinking about you, madam.
Really?
Yeah, really. The whole trip I was wondering, what's Amelia up to?
She wasn't up to much, I'm afraid.
Ah, a pity.
Indeed.
Shall we change that?
What do you have in mind?
Go put on your finest gown.
Okay.
Exterior stables. Isaac carries a large pail of water. Oliver approaches.
I need the madam's horse.
So soon?
The madam's horse, stable boy.
Yes, sir.
Isaac walks Amelia's horse out to Oliver. Oliver takes the horse and walks away. Isaac watches. He shakes his head. Exterior seaside picnic. Sunset. A blanket is spread out on the floor. A violinist and cellist play background music. A servant stands by them holding a basket. Oliver and Amelia ride up to the scene. They hop off of their horses. A servant grabs the horses from them.
My goodness. Did you put all of this together?
Please, let me help you sit.
He grabs her hand as she sits down. He sits next to her.
This is beautiful.
Are you hungry?
Terribly.
Oliver gestures to the servant with the basket. The servant opens it and brings them some bread.
Thank you.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, well, there isn't much to tell.
No need to be so humble.
Truthfully. I guess I enjoy sewing and writing,
That's something.
I suppose. And you?
Me?
What do you enjoy?
Your company.
You're quite the charmer.
I try. A man knows what he desires.
Emily blushes. Oliver signals to the servant. He brings over more food.
Exterior Kittery Tavern, day. The tavern is bustling. Interior tavern. The group of men have gathered once more.
The election is almost here, man. Jefferson, Adams, or Burr, thoughts?
Jefferson seeks to dismantle Hamilton's financial system. Hamilton's system has established us in the world. If we dismantle it now, what will we be?
Oh, please. Jefferson couldn't undo Hamilton's system if he tried. We should be more concerned by Adams' love for the British. Did we not just separate ourselves from them?
Adams would remarry Britain if he could.
And Jefferson's in love with France.
What about Burr?
Burr is indecisive, unreliable.
What does Hamilton have to say about all this?
Too busy sleeping with married women.
That was 3 years ago.
Time for change. Vote Democratic Republican.
Exterior tavern. The men leave. Clara quickly walks away. Levi exits the tavern and spots her. He jogs to catch up with her.
You'd be happy to know that I've given women another chance.
Is that so?
I've been seeing the same woman for a few months now.
And?
I'm bored.
Oh,
She has no interest in deep conversations. Everything is surface level.
well, you gave her a fair shot. Perhaps it's time to try another woman.
Perhaps. Excuse my asking, why do you wear your hat so low?
Pardon?
You cover half your face.
There's nothing interesting about my face.
And you still have yet to tell me your name. We've known each other for months now.
What's in a name?
An identity.
So your identity is wrapped in a name?
Well, not just my name.
Exactly.
If only you were a woman. I'd marry you in a heartbeat.
Sir!
Only a joke.
Levi tips his hat and walks away. Clara watches him in disbelief. Exterior stables. Isaac takes care of the horses. Amelia sits close by.
He ought to propose soon, right?
Which one are you talking about?
Oliver.
Well, if you get a proposal, shouldn't you end your relationship with Elijah?
No, he's my backup.
That doesn't seem right.
Excuse you?
It doesn't seem right to string Elijah along like such.
Mind your manners.
Sorry, ma'am.
Suddenly, one of the horses is startled. He sprints away, his reins slipping out of Isaac's grip.
What did you do?
Nothing.
They run after the horse. The horse turns left.
Keep following him. I'll try to cut him off.
Isaac peels off to the side. The horse continues on. Amelia runs behind it.
Hurry!
They tear through a patch of trees and end up on the other side, a valley with a lake. Isaac manages to get in front of the horse. The horse pauses for a moment. Isaac lunges for the reins. The horse breaks off to the side.
Come on.
The horse runs to the lake. The two chase after it. The horse slows down when it reaches the lake. It steps in to take a drink. Isaac and Amelia catch up.
Slowly now.
They slow their stride, walking on both sides of the horse. They both lunge to grab the reins at the same time, but Isaac slips and falls into the lake. Amelia, holding the reins, laughs.
It's slick.
He stands. Moments later, Isaac and Amelia sit in the tall grass. The horse grazes behind them.
I feel like a child again.
A relieving feeling, no?
Very much so.
I remember when we used to attempt to catch frogs in this lake.
Levi was always so good at it.
And your mother would come out and yell at you for getting your dress dirty.
She would. But she would never yell at you or Levi for getting your trousers dirty.
Oh, a lady mustn't get her dress dirty.
Amelia looks down at the bottom of her dress, which is torn up and dirty.
My mistake.
Amelia falls onto her back, staring at the clouds. Isaac slowly lies down too.
Life certainly does not wait, does it?
I'm afraid not.
He looks over to her and smiles, a touch of sadness behind his gaze.
It's so peaceful. I could stay out here forever.
As could I.
He looks back up at the clouds. Exterior Heinz estate. Levi walks with his horse away from the estate.
I ended my courtship with Caroline today. There was very little wrong with her. It just didn't feel quite right. I don't know. Perhaps I'm too particular.
Levi jumps onto his horse. Exterior path. Levi rides along the ocean side. Clara walks down the path with a basket. She has a cut on her cheek. Levi slows down as he approaches her.
Clara?
Don't trample me.
I don't intend to.
He turns his horse and rides beside her.
Are you returning from Caroline?
You're observant. What's happened to your cheek?
Oh, I'm just a bit clumsy.
Did you run into a wall?
How did you know?
I was making a joke.
Oh, well, I'm afraid that I do not have enough grace to avoid running into walls.
There's plenty grace in failing. Would you like a ride?
For someone who is notorious for his lack of chivalry, you seem to enjoy offering me rides.
Perhaps my chivalry is confused.
I believe he is.
So?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to turn you down once more.
Oh.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, miss.
And you.
He turns his horse and rides away. Claire laughs to herself and shakes her head. Exterior, Kittery Streets. Oliver and Amelia walk through the streets. They stop in front of a dress shop.
Would you like one?
A dress?
Or two?
Truly?
Go ahead.
They enter the shop. Interior dress shop. Amelia sorts through the dresses. Moments later, Oliver hands the money to the shop owner. Exterior dress shop. They exit the shop. Oliver hands the dresses off to a servant.
Have them delivered to the Esterman estate.
The servant nods and leaves.
You spoil me.
That's the idea.
They walk.
I have rather enjoyed our courtship, Mr. Morris.
As have I.
What do you foresee for the two of us?
They stop, a view of the endless ocean behind them.
I believe you know what comes next.
Do I?
I have a proposition to make.
Now would be a good time for a proposition.
It would be a good time, but it's not the right time.
Oh?
I still have much to do before then.
Oh.
So for now, I propose that I take you back home for the evening.
I suppose that's a fair proposal.
She wraps her arm around his and they walk away. Interior, Esterman stables. Isaac cleans the bottom of a horse's feet.
I don't know when the miss will be back. Stop asking.
He stands and pets the horse's snout. Clack, clack, clack.
Oh, that must be her now.
Oliver rides on his horse with Amelia's horse beside him.
Oh. Good evening, sir.
Oliver says nothing. He passes the reins off to Isaac and trots away. Isaac pets Amelia's horse.
He's a piece of work, ain't he?
The horse almost seems to nod in agreement.
Interior, Levi's room. Levi thumbs through some papers. Amelia enters.
Good evening, sister.
How goes your affairs?
They go.
Why'd you end your relationship with Caroline?
It wasn't right.
Oh. Well, at this point, I don't think there's any woman in the world that could be wealthier than my Oliver.
Perhaps not.
He doesn't pay her much mind.
So the estate is mine.
Looks to be where this is headed.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
Victoria enters in a hurry.
Are you all right, Mother?
Levi, go fetch a doctor.
Of course.
Levi runs out.
What's happened?
Your father.
She gets choked up. Amelia rushes to comfort her. Exterior Esterman Estate. Many people gather wearing black.
Father passed away last night. October 16th, 1800. My heart aches, Sarah. I wasn't prepared for such pain.
Levi, Amelia, and Victoria stand together. Oliver is nowhere to be seen. Isaac stands at the back of the group, his hat in his hands. The session breaks out. Levi hugs Amelia as she cries into his arms. Exterior, Kittery afternoon. Levi exits the tavern. He walks slow. Levi pauses. The rest of the men pass around him. Clara bumps into him, her hat knocked out of place, revealing the cut on her cheek. She quickly fixes her hat and continues on. Too late. Levi already took notice. Clara quickens her pace. She can feel Levi behind her.
Sir.
Clara slips into a thin alleyway. Levi follows behind.
Not today.
Clara climbs over a few boxes and lands on the other side. Levi follows suit. When he lands, he looks up and sees Clara running now.
Oh, really?
He runs after her. Clara slips in between people, her movements graceful. Levi follows her, nowhere near as successful in his movements. Clara sprints into another alley. This one has a big drop-off. She jumps down and lands with a roll, holding her hat onto her head in the process. Levi pauses at the drop-off.
Oh, you can't be serious.
He lowers himself down. Cliff edge. Clara stands at the edge of a cliff. The ocean water crashes into the wall below. Levi catches up with her.
What now?
Clara turns and faces him. Levi lunges forward and pulls off her hat. Her long golden hair falls down.
Clara.
Clara turns and jumps off the cliff. Levi looks off the edge for a moment. He takes off his coat and rolls up his sleeves.
I'm doing this.
Jumps off the edge and dives into the water. Clara, who has swam to the nearby docks already, is surprised to see him.
You're insane.
I'm insane?
Moments later, Clara and Levi sit on the dock together, soaking wet.
You are one unpredictable woman.
I try.
Why conceal your identity?
Because the world isn't ready for women.
Said who?
People like you. Quite honestly, you are the epitome of not ready for women.
I always found myself to be fairly ahead of my time.
That's fascinating, coming from the man who said women are simplistic.
You've proven me wrong.
Just as I said I would.
Levi looks as if he could kiss her right then and there.
You cannot be seen talking to the likes of me.
Said who?
Society.
There's no one around.
Oh, please, someone's always watching. How are you?
Fine. Why do you ask?
I heard about your father.
Oh,
I know what it's like to lose someone. I'm sorry.
it was to be expected.
You're allowed to mourn.
Levi gently brushes her cheek.
Tell me the truth. What happened?
Don't change the subject.
Allow me to, please.
I ran into a wall.
You are not clumsy.
I
I just watched you maneuver through this city with utmost grace. What truly happened? Did someone do this to you?
It's really none of your concern.
He reaches for her cheek again. She hits his hand away.
Does your father beat you?
No, never.
She stands.
Then what happened?
If I tell you, will you promise me that you will not interfere in the situation?
Of course.
He stands.
It was one of the men from the tavern.
What?
I said something with that smart mouth of mine, and it angered him, and when I turned to leave, he shoved me. I lost my balance and fell into the wall. There was a splinter of wood or maybe a nail. I don't know. It caught my cheek. Just grazed it. I am perfectly fine.
Who was it?
I'm not revealing that to you.
Why not?
Because clearly you're upset.
No man should shove a woman.
He's not aware that I'm a woman. Levi, I knew the risks when I decided to pose as your sex. This was to be expected.
It's shameful.
It's men, and I'm quite all right. It's nothing to get upset over.
I wish to see you again.
We see each other every week.
No, not in that way.
Oh?
I enjoy your company. I want to see you again as you, fully you.
As a woman?
Yes.
I suppose that would be all right.
Interior, Esterman Estate. Front room, night. Amelia sews by the fire. Levi enters, still damp.
What's kept you out till dark?
Levi doesn't answer. He carries himself a little different. Amelia notices.
Are you wet?
Possibly.
Did it rain? I didn't hear rain.
It didn't. How are you?
I'm okay.
As okay as you can be?
Yes,
As am I.
I'm glad.
If you want to talk about it, I'm always willing to.
That's all right. Thank you, though.
He smiles and walks out of the room. Amelia looks confused. Interior stables. Amelia and Isaac each brush a horse.
I don't understand what could have happened. He just went to his usual meeting. Perhaps his favorite politician was elected?
The election isn't for another 2 weeks, ma'am.
Oh. Why would I know that? Maybe it's his strange way to mourn.
What if he met a woman?
A woman. No woman could change him like this.
You'd be surprised the effects a woman can have on a man.
But who? Where did she come from?
How would you suppose I would know?
I wonder how much money she has.
Why does that matter?
No reason.
She pauses her brushing for a moment, but quickly continues.
With father now gone, the bet has become even more real. I do not intend to lose Sarah, no matter what it takes.
Exterior, Kittery Docks, Bay. Clara wears a dress and sits with her legs hanging off the dock. Levi approaches. He takes off his hat and bows.
Madam,
Clara laughs and stands.
There's no need for such formality.
you look lovely today.
I know.
She curtsies.
Why did you want to meet here again?
I wanted to show you something.
Oh, really?
You're well off, true?
Yes, I've inherited my father's trade business.
What do you intend to do with so much money?
I don't know. I haven't thought of it yet.
My problem with this country is that there are so many people who make way more money than they'll ever need.
Very true.
Meanwhile, even more people are struggling to survive.
What are you getting at?
No one should have to struggle to survive in this country.
That's a lofty goal.
I want you to meet some of my friends.
She grabs his hand and escorts him. Exterior, Oliver's estate. The estate is massive, castle-like. Carriage approaches. Servant opens the door. Amelia exits, dressed in a beautiful purple gown. She looks around, amazed. Oliver approaches her from the estate.
My love. Thank you, gentlemen.
The servants bow and quickly leave.
Your home is
It is, isn't it?
very much so.
Interior, Oliver's estate. They enter. Amelia is mesmerized by the large open room, beautiful paintings covering the walls, silks draping around the windows.
Whoa.
You like it?
Do I?
Picture of Tom Morris sits above the fireplace.
I'm sorry about your loss.
Oliver stops and looks at the picture with her.
I'm not. I wouldn't have all of this if he was still alive.
Amelia's eyebrows furrow.
Please, sit. I'll have the servants with you in a moment.
Oh, no, that's not.
I'll be right back.
He leaves. Amelia feels tiny in a large room, completely alone. Exterior, Jane's home. It's a decent home, sandwiched tightly between two other buildings. Sign on the door reads, Jane's home for those in need. Clara and Levi approach the door. Clara knocks. Jane, 50s, opens the door.
Clara!
They hug.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. Who's this?
This is Levi Esterman.
Of Esterman Trade Company?
Yes, ma'am.
Your father was a good man. A good company.
Thank you.
This is Jane Laurie. Jane, I was wondering if you could show Levi around.
Oh, of course. Come in.
Interior, Jane's home. The room houses all sorts of people. Elderly, escaped slaves, disabled. Levi looks around in surprise.
Ah!
An older gentleman with an underdeveloped mind runs up and hugs Clara.
Hey there, Freddie. What have you been up to?
Nothing new since Saturday.
There's nothing wrong with simple days.
Yeah.
He runs off. Clara smiles at him. Levi watches in awe.
This is my sanctuary. We provide meals and shelter for those in need.
This is...
He's at a loss for words.
I am impressed.
Currently have 20 residents. We're hoping to expand soon.
How do you afford all of this?
We have a very generous donor. Would you like some tea?
Oh, there's no need.
That would be lovely. Thank you, Jane.
Jane exits.
Let's sit.
They sit at a dining table.
You've proven me wrong yet again. I do have a question.
Of course.
Why bring me here? Does she want my money?
There you go, assuming things far too quickly.
Oh, does she?
No, the sanctuary is not in need of any financial aid.
So why bring me?
To show you the good that people are doing in this country.
I don't understand.
It's good to see life from another's perspective.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Jane arrives with tea. She sits with them. Interior, Oliver's estate. Amelia hasn't moved. A couple of servants enter.
Would you like some tea?
No, thank you.
Pastries?
I'm quite all right, thank you.
They turn to leave.
Wait,
They pause.
How is Oliver?
Pardon?
How does he treat you?
They exchange nervous glances.
Just fine.
Yes, quite fine.
Truthfully?
Of course.
Truthfully.
They exit. Amelia stands. She looks around the room. Oliver enters.
Did the servants not come?
They did.
Did they come empty-handed?
Of course not. I'm just not in the mood for any delicacies.
Oh, right.
He extends a hand to her.
Come with me.
Amelia takes his hand. Exterior Oliver's estate, courtyard. A fountain sits in the center of the courtyard, surrounded by flowers. It's a beautiful sight. Oliver leads Amelia to the front of the fountain. He stops and turns to her, grabbing both of her hands.
Amelia, these past few months with you have been dreamlike. I am a lonely man with much to give. I long to give it all to you, Miss Amelia.
He gets down on one knee. He pulls out a ring.
Will you marry me?
Oliver.
She's at a loss for words. Interior Jane's home, kitchen. Clara and Jane enter the kitchen carrying mugs. Clara helps Jane clean them.
He's nice.
Yes, extremely.
Are you two courting?
I suppose. He can be a pain in the neck.
All men are.
But there is something special about him. I haven't quite put my finger on it yet.
Living room. Levi sits at the table with Freddie mid-conversation.
I just couldn't let the poor kitty starve, so I just started sneaking out food after dinner. I thought Miss Jane would be mad at me when she found out. Turns out she loves animals just as much as she loves people.
A man bursts into the room, holding a newspaper.
It's a tie!
Clara enters. Levi turns to him. The man hands Clara the paper. Levi stands and reads over her shoulder.
Adams is out. 73 votes went to both Jefferson and Burr.
It'll go to the House.
Both candidates are Democratic Republicans.
But the House is dominated by Federalists.
Fascinating, no?
Very much.
They share a smile. Exterior, cliffside. Clara and Levi walk by the cliff edge.
I still can't believe you jumped in after me.
Oh, I wasn't going to let you get away again.
I'm glad you did.
As am I.
They pause and look out to the ocean.
Caroline told me about what you said to her at that party a while back.
Did she know?
She was furious with you.
Am I wrong about social events?
Yes.
For people our age, parties are nothing more than opportunities to swindle a potential spouse.
Correct.
So how am I wrong?
You're far too harsh on everything.
How?
No, I'm not a fan of all the ways that society operates. A woman is often no more than a financial bargain for her father and future mate. However, parties are better than suitors being thrust upon your doorstep.
Parties are futile.
They give you the chance to meet someone in a relaxed manner. You get to dance and talk and eat together.
Don't get me started on dancing.
Go to a party with me.
Is that what this is all about?
Possibly.
Clara.
It's not exactly as it sounds. You don't have to dress up. What you're wearing is perfectly acceptable. You don't have to be perfectly behaved the whole time. You can have your elbows on the table as you eat.
What type of party are you talking about?
But you must dance.
I don't know.
Please. I promise you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Levi thinks. Exterior stables. The horses eat. Isaac is nowhere to be seen. Levi enters.
Isaac?
Nothing. Levi approaches his horse. He pets it. Isaac enters.
Oh, good afternoon, sir.
Oh, please don't call me sir. It feels wrong.
Fair enough. What have you been up to as of late?
Have you ever met a woman that you're just completely drawn to?
As if in a trance.
Exactly.
I have, yes.
As have I.
Is that so?
There's this woman that I've been seeing.
Is there?
I feel like I'm losing my mind. She's convinced me to go to a party.
Levi Esterman. At a party.
I know. Something's happening.
Have you noticed a change in Amelia?
Amelia?
Yes.
Not particularly.
Ever since the party for your parents, I feel like she's changed.
Oh.
She used to talk on and on about how much she wanted to fall in love with a man for who he is, and now she just talks about how much money a man has.
True.
I apologize. I thought I would ask. Perhaps you would know more, maybe with some sort of strange twin connection.
I'm afraid we don't have a twin connection, but I can explain. We made a bet.
You what?
Whoever marries the wealthiest spouse gets the estate.
Oh. I see.
I don't particularly care for the estate. However, it is fun to watch her scramble.
Click, clack, click, clack. Amelia approaches on horseback.
Afternoon.
We must put together a party.
Amelia slides off her horse. She shows them her hand. A massive ring sparkles in the sunlight. Isaac's shoulders drop.
Congratulations.
Perhaps we can announce both of our engagements at the same time.
I'm not engaged.
Oh, please, Levi. I know there's a woman. You are so obviously in love.
Love?
Oh, I'm gonna have to agree with Amelia on this one. You love this woman.
Who is she? You must introduce us.
Perhaps I can invite her to your engagement announcement.
Our engagement party. A Christmas engagement party. How delightful.
Amelia.
Why wait if you're in love?
I don't know. If this is about the bet, I can assure you that Oliver has more money than she does.
Good. I need to share the news with Mother.
He leaves. Levi turns to Isaac.
You think I'm in love?
Exterior Kittery Docks. The large docks are filled with people. Lanterns light up the place. Small band plays folk music. Sunsets behind the horizon. Clara and Levi approach the party. Levi looks around in amazement.
Is this what you had in mind?
Not quite.
Clara grabs his hand and leads him to the dance floor. People here dance fast, letting loose as the music plays.
I don't know what to do.
Just follow along.
They separate into two different lines. They dance, shuffling and turning between each other. Levi watches as Clara gracefully moves. He stumbles over his feet, struggling to keep up.
Let yourself go.
They join hands. All of the men spin their women. Levi follows. Clara spins under his arm, looking back to him with a smile brighter than the stars.
There you go.
Levi smiles. As the dancing progresses, Levi slowly gets the hang of it. Eventually, he even has fun. Levi and Clara dance together, weaving between the other couples. Levi watches Clara closely, mesmerized. The music intensifies. Levi looks around him. People laugh and dance. The lanterns sparkle. The painted sky illuminates the scene. Clara joins back with him. He holds her hands and gazes into her eyes, blue like the ocean. Levi spins her again and again. Her dress glides through the air. Pulls her in close, and they spin together. They both laugh, overflowing with joy. Song ends, and they freeze, close together.
Look, You danced with a woman and you didn't have to marry her.
Clara walks away from him.
I think I might.
Coming?
He follows. Exterior boat. Levi and Clara sit on a boat together, looking over the party.
You were right.
Hearing you say that has yet to grow old.
I've been so obsessed over the big picture that I haven't noticed the wonder in the little things right in front of me.
There is beauty in the way of things.
Yet there is so much to be done.
Start with what you have.
What do you suppose?
You run a business, no?
Yes.
Employ people. Move your money around. Put it back into the community.
We do have room for a few more employees in our budget.
Perfect.
Are you sure you're a woman?
Quite certain.
You think in ways untypical to women.
I have a question.
Of course.
Do you think that women are incapable of thinking about things other than their domestic duties?
I did, yes, until I met you.
So what's different about me?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
As am I. I never thought of myself as different, perhaps just curious. You don't learn much from within the walls of your home.
You've proven that time and time again.
Did you enjoy dancing tonight?
I did, yes. It's much different when you're dancing with a person you love.
Love?
Levi stands and offers her hand. She takes it and he pulls her up. Pulls her in close. They sway back and forth.
Clara, I think I love you.
You think?
What's in the notion of love? It's quite complex. Truthfully, I could be mistaken.
Please stop rambling. Either you love me or you don't.
I do.
Oh,
I do love you, Clara.
why?
He spins her.
Because of your intelligence, your beauty, your grace.
As much as I love hearing a man dote upon me, I just don't understand how you can love me when you know so little about me.
I know enough to love you.
Clara pulls away from him. She puts her hands on her head.
But do you?
What else is there to know?
What about knowing what family I belong to? I could just be a poor girl swindling you for your money.
Are you?
No.
That's good enough for me. Do you love me?
Love is much more complicated than a feeling. You'd be the first one to say that. What's changed you?
Do you love me, Clara?
Yes.
Her arms fall to her side.
I love you, Levi Esterman. Despite all of your stubbornness, I love you.
Levi extends a hand to her. Clara takes it. Pulls her in. They kiss. They separate and continue to dance.
Just a month ago, you thought I was a man.
I'm so glad you're not.
They kiss again. Interior, Esterman Estate, front room. Victoria and Amelia sit together, sewing.
The invitations were sent out this morning.
You don't mind hosting on Christmas?
Not at all.
They sew in silence for a moment.
Are you happy, Amelia?
Of course.
Good.
Why do you ask?
I just want to be sure.
Are you happy for me?
Of course.
Good. Perhaps I should go visit Oliver.
You have a lot of wedding preparations to make.
Exactly.
Amelia gets up. Exterior, seaside path. Amelia rides her horse along the path. Exterior, Oliver's estate. Amelia approaches the estate. She smiles. Interior, Oliver's estate. The front room is empty. Knock, knock, knock. After a moment, Amelia enters.
Oliver?
Nothing. She walks through the room. Kitchen. Amelia pokes her head inside. It's empty. Hallway. Amelia walks through a long hallway.
Oliver?
Stumbling can be heard ahead. Oliver pops out of a room. His hair is a mess and his shirt is unbuttoned.
Amelia.
I'm sorry to intrude.
Yes. What are you doing here?
I wanted to see you.
Of course.
Amelia approaches him.
The invitations have all been sent.
Wonderful.
Yes. Where are all your servants?
I gave them the day off.
Oh. What are you up to?
Just relaxing.
Truthfully?
What? Why would I lie?
You're right. I apologize. Would you like to work on some wedding preparations?
No, now is not the best time, Amelia.
Oh. Of course. I apologize.
Please stop apologizing.
I'm sorry. Should I leave?
It might be best.
Okay.
She turns to leave. Oliver goes back into his room and shuts the door. Amelia stops at the end of the hallway. She turns around and charges into his room. Oliver's room. Oliver has taken off his shirt. A woman lies in his bed. Amelia stands in the doorway.
Oliver!
I told you to escort her out.
She smacks Oliver's arm.
Amelia, listen to me.
He approaches her. Amelia backs away from him, shaking her head. Hallway. Amelia backs into the wall. Oliver puts his hand against the wall, trapping her.
Don't go anywhere. Think of all you will lose.
How could you do this?
She means nothing to me. You're the one I want.
If you wanted me, you wouldn't sleep with some whore.
You're the one that I want to give my life to. You're the one I want to dote upon. Think about it. This beautiful estate will be yours.
I never wanted your estate.
Oh, come on now, Amelia. We both know you only love my money and I love yours.
Amelia shell-shocked. Slides his hands from the wall to her shoulders and down to her waist.
You can still have it.
But I'll never have your heart.
What use is a heart? Let's be wise now. The invitations have been sent. Society knows.
Amelia's eyes water up.
Forget society.
She yanks off her ring and throws it. She breaks free from his grasp and walks away.
You're a fool, Amelia Esterman. You'll regret this.
She ignores him. Exterior seaside path, sunset. Amelia rides away from the estate. She wipes tears from her eyes.
Interior kitchen day. Levi leans against the wall, his head back. Victoria paces back and forth, biting her nails. Rebecca enters with a tray full of food. She shakes her head.
Didn't want any of it.
Levi and Victoria exchange a look.
I don't know what to do. Maybe you should talk to her.
I'm probably the last person she wants to see.
Have you canceled the party yet?
No, she said not to.
She didn't want to ruin it for me.
Have you proposed?
No.
I hate seeing her like this. The poor girl's heart has been broken far too many times this autumn.
It was to be expected. Give her time.
Dear Sarah, I don't expect I'll ever leave this room again.
Exterior stables. Isaac walks away from the stables.
I'm such a fool.
Isaac looks up to her window.
Why does it hurt so bad?
Interior Amelia's room. Night. Amelia writes at her desk.
I wasn't even in love.
Knock, knock, knock. Amelia is startled.
I'm not hungry yet, Rebecca.
It's me,
Me who?
Isaac.
Isaac?
She gets up and opens the door.
Good evening.
Can I help you?
Yes.
What is it?
You remember when we were kids?
Interior stables. Amelia and Isaac enter. They each prepare a horse. Exterior path. Amelia and Isaac race down a path. Exterior shore. The sand almost glows in the moonlight. The water rolls in wave after wave. Amelia and Oliver ride in. They jump off of their horses. Isaac ties the reins to a tree. Amelia looks out at the water.
Do my eyes deceive me?
Amelia turns to him, smiling. He slowly approaches her as he talks.
Her skin glows in the moonlight. Her hair in perfect waves. That beauty goes unmatched. Can only mean one thing.
A mermaid.
Oh, it must be. It's the only possible explanation.
The elusive sea creature, rarely seen by men.
What gives me the right to gaze upon you?
Because, dear sailor, a war has broken out amongst the mer people, and you are the key to end it.
Mer people?
Don't break character.
I'm shocked. You didn't make me a pirate this time. I was always a pirate when we were kids.
That'd be too predictable.
They look at each other. Amelia's gaze turns to sadness. She turns away from him.
How are you?
How do you expect?
Miserable.
That I am.
I'm sorry, Amelia. You deserve much better.
Amelia sits. Isaac follows suit.
Everything was going perfectly. He was perfect.
Well, you can't trust a perfect person.
I was foolish. Blinded.
A wealthy man gets whatever he wants.
I'm not his to get. My goodness, I let him buy me the one thing.
The one thing you said you would never let happen. Don't mind me saying, but you've changed, Amelia. You used to be so independent. It was intimidating. And I would think to myself, there is no other woman like Amelia Esterman. You told me no money in the world was worth love.
I was young. I didn't understand the world.
It's not too late.
What do you mean?
You can still have love.
Can.
Of course. You're beautiful and a joy to be around. Any man would be lucky.
You're right.
Of course I'm right.
I should go find Elijah.
Wait, what?
My backup, of course. I completely forgot.
She gets up.
No, Amelia.
Help me onto my horse. We must get home. I'll head to the bank first thing in the morning.
Of course.
They head over to the horses. Exterior Elijah's bank. Amelia and Levi walk down the streets together.
Are you sure about this?
Positive.
They stop in front of Elijah's bank.
Good luck.
Interior Elijah's bank. Elijah talks with the teller. Amelia enters. He sees her.
Amelia.
Hey.
Exterior Kittery Main Street. Levi walks through the street, his hand in his pocket. He stops at the tavern and pulls out a ring. He takes a shaky breath. Henry and Daniel approach. Levi quickly pockets the ring.
Good morning, Levi.
Good morning.
They enter the tavern. Interior tavern. Clara and Eric are in the midst of a tense conversation.
You and your smart mouth.
Men, please.
Is it too much for your small mind to handle?
Levi, Henry, and Daniel enter.
I ought to punch you in your face so you can't speak again.
He gets closer to her.
What's going on here?
This fool called me a simple-minded coward.
Because you are. You stand here all day yelling at Jonathan. Everything he says is wrong, yet you seem to have no mind of your own to debate him.
Eric lunges at her. Levi catches him.
This is no place for violence. Have civility.
I have plenty of knowledge to debate him.
Well, let's see it, because calling him a French-loving fascist is not an arguing point.
Let him be.
I can handle myself, Levi. Eric, if I were to say that a centralized government is dangerous, how would you respond?
You Democratic Republicans want to tear America to the ground. You don't care about the America or the people in it.
That's a horrible response.
It's the truth.
Can we not at least agree that we all care about this country and its people?
No, it's impossible to care about the country and vote for a candidate who wants to watch it burn.
You've made my point for me. You can only throw personal attacks because you don't have enough brains of your own to develop a factual response.
Eric punches her square in the face. Levi tackles him.
Levi!
Levi punches him in the face over and over. The other men pull him off.
How dare you punch her, you coward!
Her?
They all turn to Clara. Clara looks at Levi, furious. Eric gets to his feet. He charges over to Clara, rips off her hat, and throws it on the floor.
You little...
He grabs her by the neck.
You make a mockery of me. I am not to be outsmarted by a wench.
Levi yanks him off of her and punches him. Eric stumbles back. Clara grabs her hat and runs out of the tavern. Levi runs out after her. Exterior streets. Clara charges through the streets, stuffing her hair back into her hat. Levi chases after her.
Clara!
She ignores him. He grabs her by the arm and turns her around.
I'm sorry.
You just couldn't help yourself, could you?
It was an accident.
I was fine, Levi.
How do you expect me to just stand and watch him attack you?
I'm not going to be able to go back, Levi. How am I to have a voice now? I can't vote, I can't speak to any men about politics, and now I can't even return to the group that gave me some release.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Of course you didn't, because you're a man. You can do whatever you please. No one's holding you back.
I wasn't trying to hold you back.
Clara turns away from him.
You know I love you, Clara. How can I just stand and watch the woman I love be hurt?
Clara slowly turns back to him.
You can talk to me about politics. You can talk to me about anything. For all of your life. Be with me, Clara. Let me walk by your side for my entire life.
Clara looks at him, collecting her thoughts.
And if any man ever tries to shut you up, I will be by your side, shutting him up.
Will you marry me?
Levi freezes.
Aren't I supposed to ask that?
You were taking too long.
He smiles. He pulls out the ring and gets down on one knee.
Will you marry me?
Yes.
They kiss.
Exterior carriage. The carriage moves along the path. Interior carriage. Elijah and Amelia sit together. Amelia has a new ring on her finger.
Are you excited to meet my parents?
Of course.
They're very interesting people.
I can imagine.
Interior, Elijah's living room. Elijah, Amelia, Joseph, Delilah sit together. It is clear that they have been sitting there for a while.
Just the way that the thread splits at the end is quite aggravating, you know. However, the needle is a very fascinating object.
Dear, that's enough about sewing. Let's talk about something interesting.
Amelia looks relieved.
Tell us more about the bank, Elijah.
You would not believe the nickel we got today.
Interior Esterman Estate dining room. Levi helps Victoria set the dining table.
Dear Levi, I have not heard from you in quite some time. I hope things are going well.
Interior Amelia's room. Amelia gets ready. Rebecca ties her into her dress.
Dare I venture to ask, if good old Levi Esterman has found someone else to confide in?
Interior Levi's room. Levi buttons up his shirt.
Is our letter exchange no longer necessary?
Interior Clara's room. Golden curls fall nicely on Clara's back.
I feel bad for whoever's ear you're talking off these days.
Interior Levi's room. Levi heads to the door.
I wish you the best. Your friend, William.
Exterior, Esterman Estate. The estate is bustling as several people arrive in carriages. Interior, Esterman Estate, front room. Amelia mingles with all of the guests. They greet her with joy. Elijah and his parents enter. Back hall. Levi walks down the stairs. Isaac enters from the stables.
Good evening.
Will you be joining us for the party?
I wasn't aware that I was invited.
Of course.
Well, I'm certainly not dressed for the occasion.
I can help with that.
Ballroom. The party moves to the ballroom where music is played. Elijah and Amelia dance together surrounded by other couples. Interior, carriage. Clara sits in the carriage. Her breath is shaky. Ballroom. Levi stands at the back of the ballroom. He watches everyone dance.
Where is she?
Well, she's coming.
Victoria walks away. Isaac enters and stands next to Levi. He's polished in a nice suit.
You look good.
Thanks.
He looks into the crowd of dancing couples. He spots Amelia. His eyes glisten when he sees her.
She looks beautiful.
Levi scans the crowd.
Who?
He follows Isaac's gaze. He realizes. He grabs Isaac and pulls him into the front room.
You fancy Amelia.
No.
Then who are you talking about?
No, I don't fancy her, Levi. I love her.
What are you standing around waiting for?
It's too late for me. I've lost my chance.
She's not married yet, and she's already broken one engagement off. What's another?
But Elijah,
Elijah's a bore. You have much more to offer her.
Isaac is lost in thought.
It was you, wasn't it?
Pardon?
After everything that happened with Oliver, she was utterly distressed, but suddenly she bounced back. It was you.
I guess it was. Yes.
You make her happy, Isaac.
I do.
If you love her, you won't let her throw her life away with a man who doesn't make her happy?
But how can I care for her, Levi? I make very little money. I can't support her lifestyle.
Who cares?
I do. I want to give her the best.
We have a position open at the trade company.
What are you suggesting?
Suddenly, the front door opens. Clara enters. She looks beautiful in a blue dress that brings out her piercing blue eyes.
My goodness.
Don't say anything. I already feel foolish.
How could you? You're beautiful.
He approaches her. Isaac watches them for a moment and then leaves. Ballroom. Isaac enters. He spots Amelia still dancing with Elijah. He slips through the dancing couples.
Amelia.
They stop dancing. She looks at him.
Isaac?
Can I talk to you?
Of course, go ahead.
Alone?
What do you have to say to her that I can't hear?
Isaac, go ahead.
Really, it's better if we talk alone.
Can I just dance with him for a moment?
Fine.
He leaves them. Front room. Clara and Levi stand at the door.
Everyone's in the ballroom.
Of course.
Shall we?
Clara remains at the door.
Are you all right?
I'm afraid.
Of what?
Ballroom. Amelia and Isaac dance.
What did you want to say to me?
Amelia, you look beautiful.
Thank you. You could have said that in front of Elijah.
Isaac takes a shaky breath.
Are you all right?
The princess was the beauty of the ball. Every eye was on her.
Many suitors came from far and wide to win her hand.
Of course, they found her beauty to be immaculate.
Impressive word choice.
But there was one at the ball who saw beyond her beauty, for he had been there all along. He watched her grow and blossom, and he saw her heart in everything she did.
Her knight.
Her stable boy.
Oh? What chance does a stable boy have with a princess?
Yeah, that's what he wonders. If only he could make her see his heart. If only he could tell her how he feels. The others want her for her wealth and beauty, but not the stable boy.
Amelia slows in her dancing.
Isaac.
Because the stable boy loves her. I love you, Amelia.
Amelia freezes.
Isaac, don't tease me.
I would never.
I'm engaged to Isaac.
I'm aware.
And the bet, Isaac.
I don't know. I think I might have slightly more than Levi's, miss.
Isaac.
I couldn't live with myself if I didn't tell you.
Elijah approaches the two.
May I have my fiancé back?
Amelia stands lost in thought.
Are you all right?
Behind them, Levi and Clara enter the room. All eyes turn to them. Whispers erupt. Victoria approaches the couple.
Is this her?
Yes. Clara, this is my mother, Victoria.
Clara! What's your surname?
Clara glances at Levi. The crowd watches eagerly.
Toms.
Tom's? The heiress?
Clara sheepishly nods. Levi looks over to her, shocked.
Eris, you didn't tell me.
Clara's eyes dart around the room. She turns and runs out. Levi follows her.
Did you say Tom's?
Amelia's eyes water. She dashes out of the room. Front room. Clara and Levi run in.
Clara, wait.
I'm sorry, Levi.
Who are you?
I knew I shouldn't have come.
And what? I would never find out that you're inheriting ungodly amounts of wealth?
It is ungodly, isn't it?
Clara.
It's embarrassing. I did nothing to deserve it. It's just luck.
You realize that every single person in that ballroom wishes they were you, right?
They shouldn't. No one needs so much money.
Why didn't you just tell me?
I was tired of being looked at like some kind of trophy. Each day I would go downtown to escape the endless suitors, all of whom care very little for me.
Then doesn't it mean something that I cared for you before I knew of your wealth?
Of course. Which is why I wish you wouldn't have found out, because now you know that I'm a liar and I've ruined everything.
Levi thinks for a moment.
You're not a liar. I just didn't ask. But please, is there anything else?
No.
First, you're a woman, then you're an heiress.
And that's it. I promise. And I'm sorry.
You're Clara Toms, an heiress, intelligent, beautiful, mysterious, and
Levi Esterman's fiance.
yes.
They kiss.
Shall we dance?
He takes her hand and leads her back to the ballroom.
So that is why I am simply vexed, Sarah.
Interior, Amelia's room. Amelia sits draped over the bed, crying.
Elijah and Isaac's money combined wouldn't come close to what Clara Toms has.
Ballroom. Levi and Clara dance.
Levi played me for a fool.
Exterior, Esterman estate. Isaac walks in the darkness to the stables. He looks back to Amelia's room.
Please tell your friend what to do. Yours, Amelia.
Interior, Esterman estate. Amelia's room. Morning. Amelia gets ready in her bed.
Yes?
Levi slowly opens the door.
I don't believe I have anything to say to you.
Amelia.
If you wanted the estate so bad, you should have just said. You went behind my back and lied to me.
Amelia.
Do you really despise your sister so?
No, Amelia, listen.
Amelia stands and barges out of the room. Hallway. Levi follows her.
I didn't know.
Amelia ignores him and charges down the stairs.
Amelia, you must believe me.
She's gone. Interior, trade company. Levi sits at a large desk. He signs some papers. Isaac enters. He wears a noticeably nicer outfit than usual, though not as nice as the one from the engagement party. He sits across from Levi.
She's still not talking to you? I haven't seen her all week.
Nor have I.
Did I mess up?
Mess up what?
I told her that I loved her.
You what?
I know, it was foolish.
No, not at all. What did she say?
Nothing. That's when you and Clara arrived.
Oh. No, I'm so sorry.
Don't be. If she loved me back, she would have said it by now. I hope she's all right.
Levi sits back in his chair.
Exterior downtown. Amelia stands in front of Elijah's bank. She fiddles with her ring.
Amelia?
Amelia turns. Clara stands carrying a basket.
Did Levi send you after me?
Of course not. We didn't mean to hurt you.
Oh, please. One's heart is just a game to people like you.
Can I show you something?
Amelia looks at her. Interior Jane's home. Jane sits with Freddie at a dining table. Clara and Amelia enter.
Miss Clara.
He runs and hugs her.
Hey there, Freddie.
Jane stands.
Who is this?
This is my friend Amelia.
Yes, Amelia Esterman.
Levi's sister?
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
Clara pulls an envelope out.
for you.
Clara hands Jane the envelope.
Oh, please, Clara, you've given plenty this month.
I've had plenty to give. You know how to use it better than I do.
Why did you bring me here?
Because I figured you deserved to know my heart. We are going to be sisters after all.
Amelia eyes her.
Please sit. I'll fetch you some tea.
Thank you, Jane.
Did he know?
That I was an heiress? He knew the same moment that you did.
Oh,
I know it was wrong for me to conceal my true identity. However, I want you to know that your brother fell in love with me, not for my money and not for your bet.
you know about that?
I do. You two have a funny way of solving problems.
I suppose we do.
Suddenly, Levi bursts into the building.
Clara, we need to... Oh. Amelia.
He stares at the pair for a while.
I found her contemplating life in the streets.
Of course. Amelia,
You didn't know.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to deceive you.
Amelia can't look him in the eyes. She tears up. He wraps his arm around her.
I'm sorry. About Father, about Oliver, about everything.
Amelia cries into his shoulder. A tear rolls down Levi's cheek.
I love you, Amelia. Please always remember that. You're my sister.
Amelia sits up. She wipes the tears from her eyes.
And you're my brother.
You'll always have me, whether you want me or not.
Amelia laughs and looks at Clara.
What have you done to this man?
Clara shrugs, getting teared up herself.
I love you too. And you have my approval.
Approval?
Yes, you picked a great woman.
Thank you. Your approval means a lot.
Since when? I miss him, Levi.
As do I.
They hug again.
The estate is yours, Amelia.
Amelia quickly pulls back.
What?
She turns to Clara for reassurance.
We certainly don't need it.
And I know you love it.
That wasn't the agreement.
Oh, please, Amelia.
You won.
Amelia, it was a silly arrangement. Please, it's yours, as well as my inheritance.
We have plenty.
Levi,
You're welcome. But please, marry someone you love. I'd rather not hear about pennies for the rest of my life.
Exterior Jane's home. Amelia exits the home.
My Amelia, what have you gotten yourself into?
Seaside path. Amelia walks along the path. The sea roars behind her.
In my opinion, no amount of money is worth love.
Esterman Estate. Amelia approaches the estate.
From reading your letters, there's one clear choice.
Stables. Amelia walks up to the stables.
I hope you make it.
Amelia looks around.
Isaac?
Nothing. Interior stables. Amelia searches.
Isaac!
She stops by her horse, defeated.
Amelia?
Amelia lights up. She dashes out of the stables. Exterior stables. Isaac stands. Amelia runs up to Isaac and wraps her arms around him. They kiss. They separate.
The stable boy gets the princess.
Of course. Because the princess loves him.
They kiss again. Exterior wedding altar. The wedding is outside by the lake that Isaac fell into. Isaac and Amelia kiss. Clara and Levi stand by their side, also kissing. The two couples separate and cheer. Levi and Amelia glance at each other. They laugh for joy.
I would be up waiting for you if you had to leave. I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love you till the end of time. I just wanna hold you for forever. Every day you're making me better. 'Cause a love like this is rare. And I wanna take you there.
Exterior wedding reception. Elijah stands by the food while everyone dances. He fiddles with a penny. Lori, a beautiful redhead, approaches the food. She grabs a roll. She notices Elijah flipping the penny.
Have you ever wondered why the penny is larger than the dime?
Elijah's eyes light up.